Do your job.
Marcos Villegas here for FightHubTV.com in Lakewood, California at the Body Shop, being joined by MMA veteran Jason High. Jason, what are you doing there?
Nothing. What's up?
Well, Jason, it was just announced you have a huge fight in Japan for Dream's year-end show against Hayato Mach Sakurai. I want to see, how did this fight come about for you?
Well, you know, some people call some people call me, some people talk to Sakurai, and you know, we're going to get down on New Year's Eve.
Now, Sakurai's a legend. He's coming off of a 3-fight losing streak, 2 of which are come by submission. Are you going to use that to your advantage? Are you going to take a look at that and see, like, maybe I'm going to work this guy on the ground?
I'm looking to work him wherever the fight goes, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I imagine I'll take him down soon into the fight, but, you know, if it ends up standing, I think I could take him there too.
This guy's a legend. He's fought in guys like Jens Pulver, Frank Trigg, Anderson Silva, some of which he's won, some of which he's lost. Does that kind of trip you out that he's been fighting since 1996?
Yeah, I was in high school in 1996, so that's kind of cool. But, you know, I don't really care who he's fought, and I'm not really looking at him. You know, everybody says that his heart may not be in it because he's lost 3 straight, but he's still dangerous. So, you know, every fight is different. You know, I think he'll be ready for this fight, and he's still fighting, so he's still trying to get his name out there and trying to be a fighter. So I'm taking him serious.
How do you like that Japanese crowd at those Dream shows? Tell me a little bit about that.
It's a little different. They don't say much. They're real quiet, so it's a little different than it is here. You know, people yelling at you and cussing and stuff, but it's cool. You know, they're very respectful and they're very knowledgeable. So it's good to go there and have a different atmosphere. You know, you can hear everything that happens. You know, all the breathing. You can hear when people step on the cage or on the ring. If it makes different noises, you know, it's really quiet. It's kind of eerie. So yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a lot easier to hear your corner too.
Yeah, it is. It's easier to hear everything. I mean, you know, you can hear anything that happens pretty much. You can hear the announcers talking. You can hear everything.
Now, speaking of which, I know and everybody else knows you were signed to the UFC. I think they gave you like a 3 or 4 fight deal. Do you think it was fair of them to cut you as early as they did, knowing that they signed you onto a 3-4 fight deal?
It's just business. It says in the contract that they can cut me if I lose whenever they want. So, you know, they opted out. I don't really care. You know, there's still places to fight, you know, outside of the UFC. So at this point, I'm doing fine outside of the UFC.
How was it like going back to the smaller shows to work your way back up to this Dream fight?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter to me where I fight. So it's nice to be in the UFC and have that kind of recognition. But at the end of the day, you still got to walk in there in some arena with some guy that's trying to take your head off. So it's pretty much the same, you know.
Oh, you're keeping really, really busy after this fight. I believe you have 2 more fights, one at Titan Fighting Championships and another one for the MFC. How do you think you're going to handle having consecutive fights? Is it really hard for you as an athlete, for your body to go through a fight in end of December and then those 2 other fights?
Well, I like staying busy, so, you know, after this fight I'll probably take a week where I don't do much, like just some light training, and then I'll get right back into it. That's the way I like to do it. That way you can stay in shape and you stay sharp. So I like staying busy. Yeah.
It's very, very great to see you back in the cage, in Dream, at their year-end show. Jason, there's one last thing I want to leave off with. I noticed on your website, on your blog, there's a thing that you put on there a while back saying like the top 5 things that really like grind your gears. And I was reading that and it was quite funny.
That was a long time ago. Yeah.
And I want to see currently what are like the top like 3 things that really grind your gears right now.
Let's see. The Dougie grinds my gears. Can't stand the Dougie.
Elaborate on that.
Well, I just think it's kind of like, you know, they took a 2-step and they added a couple things and then they call it something else. It's kind of like, it's like, doesn't make much sense to me. What else? I can't think of anything else right now that really. No, I mean the Dougie. That's probably that's probably the number 1 on my list. There's a lot of Dougie in these days, so I'm not hating on anybody's Dougie. This motherfucker right here. But you know, that's about it. I think I can't think of anything else. Yeah.
Well, Jason, thank you very much for this interview in Lakewood, California, at the Body Shop. This has been Marcos Villegas for Fight Hub TV with Jason High.
Thanks for having me.